Another subject that we have been focusing on this entire week is to raise awareness about Alzheimer's. Do you see these people walking? They're walking with a purpose. Right now, more than 6 million Americans live with Alzheimer's disease. More than 11 million people are basically unpaid caregivers. And as you would imagine, that diagnosis is really hard on families. So community support is crucial. Tanisha Royce Christmas has been a member of the Atlanta Walk to End Alzheimer's Committee for 5 years. Thanks for joining us to talk about this really important issue. Tanisha, you saw your dad go through this process.
Yes.
Can you tell us about him?
Yes, my dad, I mean, what a guy. Webster Royce. Unfortunately, my dad passed in 2018, and he is one out of 10 children from my grandparents who had Alzheimer's. 6 out of 10 of the children have passed with Alzheimer's, due to Alzheimer's.
How old was your dad?
My dad, well, he had early onset.
Okay.
So his diagnosis started more in his late 50s. And then he lived for a little bit. My mom cared for him. My husband, sister, and I, we were more distant caregivers. So we supported her. And that's how we came upon the Alzheimer's Association.
You know, it's interesting. You say it was early onset, but we're hearing more and more of that.
Yes.
Do you recall your mother maybe saying to you, your father's getting awfully forgetful? Or, you know, what was it? What was it that she perhaps noticed that sent them to get that diagnosis to begin with?
There were little things. At the time, my sister was home, and so she started picking up on symptoms. And you know, we had to remind him about little things, or he had to do, his to-do list seemed more extensive than your normal to-do list, like reminders. He had to remind himself of little things. And then he was asking other family members to help him, remember. So he was a little bit more aware of where he was.
And maybe even more aware since his siblings
Yes.
had dealt with the same thing, or no?
Well, before he was diagnosed, he had 2 brothers that were diagnosed.
Okay.
He was very helpful in caring for those 2 brothers. But at that time, there was another brother who ended up passing in Jamaica because of his of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And so I believe that it's very important that African Americans get involved in trial match, especially families where Alzheimer's runs in the family.
I was going to ask you about that because you, having watched, you know, your uncles deal with this and your father deal with the same thing and pass away from this horrible disease. Do you have concerns yourself? And,
I do.
And what are you doing about it?
I do. I exercise. I watch my blood pressure. I watch my sugar, which is a little bit hard. And then, you know, just try to do new activities. But
because
really,
all of those things actually have been shown.
They've been shown to
right?
help. And that's the thing, you know, in the African American community, we need education. We actually need more people to sign up for trial match.
Talk to me about the trial match. What is that? How does that work?
Well, trial match is pretty much, they connect you with a research or if you qualify to participate in research, that way they can find more, they can do more research for cure. They can provide support. And really, they are in need of African American families. They don't have enough information to diagnose why African American families are being affected by Alzheimer's.
You know, it's interesting. We have had an emphasis on Alzheimer's this entire week leading up to our walk tomorrow. We had a doctor who was here just the other day talking about this, talking about the fact that in the African American community, it's something you just kind of don't talk about.
We do not talk about it.
It's almost you're ashamed, or you just don't want people to know, or whatever it is.
Yes.
You've got to get past that stigma.
You have got to get past it, because knowledge, I mean, I believe knowledge is power. And I know it sounds cliche, but when it comes to Alzheimer's, a disease such as this, narratives can be created. But if you know the facts, then you're able to move with more knowledge. You know how to help your loved one. You know how to seek support, such as the Alzheimer's Association.
Yes.
You know, so it's very important to just know the facts.
Well, we're getting the facts out there,
Yes,
as are
yes.
you. We thank you
Yes.
so much for coming on to talk
Thank
about this really
you.
important issue. And people can help you get the message out and
Yes.
also raise money by joining us for this walk.
Yes.
It is Saturday, November 5th, taking place at the Battery at Truist Park. You can log on to AtlantaNewsFirst.com for more information on how you can sign up.